Okay, welcome back. We've got all of our cardboard materials here, and we should probably go ahead and do a little cleanup. The first thing I'd like to point out is that InstaMat really does a great job at following layer group folders. So if I select the entire hierarchy that I want inside of this folder, all of these elements, and clicking on the layer group, it'll add it to a folder. Now, some people may say, like, well, that's how it should work. And you're right. That is how it should work. But not every 3D painting application does that. So it's really, really nice that InstaMat has taken care of that for us. And we're going to name this cardboard. And now we're going to collapse this folder structure down. And now we want to add in the banding at the top. So let's just start off with a multi-channel layer. A multi-channel layer will give you a raw color that you can modify on opacity or blending mode. You can blend that in however you really wanted to, overlay it, whatever. Just like you would in other traditional 2D painting applications utilizing layers. We don't need any of the height, so we're just going to turn that off by going all the way to the left. Roughness, we're going to leave at 100 because we do want to use it, but let's just go ahead and crank that up a bit because this is going to be our ink that's on top of this cardboard. And we don't need any metal. And we do want to have that normal map information from the box. You know, this little corrugated ripping and folding and little dents and stuff. We want to have that information come through on this multi-channel layer. So let's change that normal blending mode to overlay, and we instantly get all that information back. Let's name this banding. Let's just start off with that. We want to make it like a black color, so we just click this here. I'm going to switch over to HSV mode so I can see how saturated it is. Also know I want it to be kind of a warm color, something close to that, and say okay. And that's looking really nice. But how do we make this into a band? We can do a mesh mask painting, which is really neat. You can change your brush settings in here. And let's just say we wanted to take the softness of this brush, and let's make this a really, really hard brush instead. And let's turn the radius up and make sure our spacing is turned down. So you get all of those really nice features that you would see out of other brush editing applications. And we're going to just click here, hold down shift, and we get a nice kind of target line. And we can click there. And let's just imagine for a second that your art director or your client came back and said, hey, that's looking really nice, but I want the banding to be down at the bottom. Well, that's going to be a bit of an issue. You're going to have to go back and erase all of this and then hand paint all of this back in. And that's only one part of the issue. I mean, we also have to go in and make sure that our brush is meeting exactly where we need it to meet on every corner of this box just to even hopefully not clean up as much as we would need to. So really doing a mesh mask painting for this band up at the top of the box is not ideal. We're not going to even think about doing something like that. So instead, we're going to use a really, really cool feature inside of InstaMat called the Mesh Volume Mask. If you've used other applications, you will be very, very familiar with volumes in the 3D world. This just brings it right into a layer setup, and so it makes it pretty powerful because you get all of the 3D widgets that you need, and you can control the softness of that. And it doesn't even have to be a cube. It could be a sphere, and then you could say, well, I'm going to duplicate this and make it a cylinder, and I'm going to kind of rotate this around. And you can create some different masks using just shapes, which is pretty handy. And since this first volume mask really worked well as a cube, we're going to leave it just as that. And we're going to just bring down some of the scale here, pull it up. And since this mesh is predeformed, if you can see here the fold for this flap, it's not lining up very well. So we're just going to rotate this. And if you hold down left mouse button and you drag out, if you don't move your mouse a whole lot, you're going to get a lot of really sharp responsiveness. But if you drag your mouse way out of the screen, you get some finer tuned control, which is really, really nice. And I've got that lined up there, looking pretty sharp and clean. Now let's see how we can add in some logos. So I'm going to add in a new volume mask here. Actually, I'm going to use a projected mask. So a projected mask will use any image. So let's take a new image. I click on the little image at the far end, and I make sure that I'm inside of my package. And by default, I think it may show up right here. So you want to make sure you're inside your package of assets that you brought in. And I'm going to pick my Nabro logo. And as you can see, it's utilizing a triplanar projection by default, and it's repeating all the way across. Now, because this logo is a black background with white logo, it's inverted. So we need to go ahead and invert this. And the other part of it is because we rotated this mesh volume mask a little bit here on this Z, we're going to copy that value and go back up here. And in the rotate section, we're going to paste that in on our projected mask. And now those logos line up right where they should all the way across, utilizing the same rotation value. And now that it's repeating, that may be okay, but you may run into an issue where that's not the brand standards for the company. They only want one logo. So we can change the sampling mode to clamped. And perhaps the brand standards are the logo always needs to be on the left. So there's enough clear space around the logo that looks like it's about the height of the O and all the way around it, and it's always on the left. So that's working, and then we can just come over here on this side and do the exact same thing, and that's looking pretty cool. Let's go ahead and name this mesh projected mask Nabro logo. And then we're going to duplicate it. And we're going to add in our digital Cyber Cherries logo. So we'll say DCC logo. And we're going to change that image from our package to the DCC logo. Drag that all the way over here to the side. And all the way over here to the side. And that's looking pretty sharpish. Next, we're going to take a look at how we can add in other mesh projected masks on this bottom portion of the box. So until then, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. Thank you.